Hi, and welcome to the Examined Life. And today we're going to be looking at the topic of flying monkeys and how they pertain to narcissists. Okay, so the term flying monkeys actually comes from The Wizard of Oz, and it's referring to the actual flying monkeys of the Wicked Witch of the West. And there's a scene in there where she says, "Fly, my pets, fly." Go out and do my bidding, basically. And when that's the definition kind of what the people who are loyal to narcissists will do their bidding. And it's really creepy and amazing how they can get people to do stuff for them and take their side. They do it blindly, actually. So anyways, so what narcissists do, I'm gonna tell you an interesting story. This was it was just creepy when it wasn't directly involving me. I've been involved in situations where I actually became a flying monkey unbeknownst to myself. And it is possible for someone to be a flying monkey and not know that they're a flying monkey. Okay, that's totally possible. But then again, there are those that do know, kind of, but they don't necessarily define themselves as flying monkeys. They just see themselves as loyal to their friend. The problem is that they really don't know their friend. Because if they did, maybe they wouldn't be their friend, or, they definitely would be accountable for what's going on. So, but they choose willful ignorance. A lot of them do. And then, some of the flying monkeys are actually narcissists in their own right. So let me tell you this interesting story, and I thought it was kind of creepy. But I was called to jury duty a couple of was it maybe 2 years ago? Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. And there was this guy, and he was it was a sentencing trial. So he had already been found guilty of raping three young women. They were teenagers. So the sentencing trial that we were involved in had to do with giving the judge the option of doing a life sentence or not. So we had to listen to the whole shebang, and we didn't actually get any of the victims on the stand, but we did get some testimony, from the mother of one of the girls that he had molested. So he married this woman who happened to be a therapist, okay, and she was his therapist for quite a while, and she ended up leaving the therapeutic profession after it was all over. But she was dating him, and she had this child from this other guy before him, and then she had 2 kids from him. And so when she was going to work every morning, the guy was molesting her daughter from the previous marriage. And so after he was molesting her, then she ran away. So she became a runaway. And then so they couldn't they couldn't even find her for the sentencing trial to come and talk to us. But then he was arrested and trialed for this for contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and then raping one girl. She was a group of 3 runaways, and then he enticed them to come into his house, and with marijuana and alcohol and things like that. And while one of them was he raped one of them, and the other 2 went and got the police. And then there was another situation where he had gotten one of these girls, not another girl, totally different girl. maybe I think she might have been a neighbor or somebody. She calls him to pick her up, and then he takes her to a hotel room, and he rapes her there. And now, so he's convicted of all 3 of these rapes, right? And somehow, so they call the witness of the mother of the daughter he molested, right? Who was his ex-girlfriend. And she had moved on to California, I believe, and decided to go into a different direction in her career. So she calls up and she does testimony over the phone to the jurors. And she flat out says, well, I didn't know he was doing what he was doing. And I don't believe that, he was a good father to my children. And I don't believe that he was doing what he did. I don't think he did. Okay? I don't know about other stuff, but I don't think he did. So she's defending him, basically. He rapes her daughter, and she's defending him. Later on, now it wasn't part of the trial, but later on I found out that she was suing him because she had bought him like 4 really expensive cars. This guy never worked a day in his life. He's a player. Okay, he's a player. And he was sponging off of women left and right. And so this chick, she's still in denial, in absolute denial. So, but she is a flying monkey of his still yet, even after all that happened. Because she's standing there, she's calling up, and she's basically saying that she didn't, believe that he was a bad guy. She says, I would trust him with my children. Absolutely. She said that. She said that to the jurors, believe it or not. Okay? And the lawyers were cross-examining her and everything like that. And at the end of the day, she was standing up for this guy. Okay? The narcissist. Definitely the guy is a total psychopath narcissist. Okay? And she's his ex-girlfriend and the mother of the girl he raped. And now you so I'm floored. I'm flabbergasted as to the fact that he can get a woman he raped her child, and he can get her to give him a recommendation to a group of jurors that he's a good guy. Okay, that's a flying monkey. That is a flying monkey right there. Whatever her motivation for doing that, it still makes her a flying monkey. It doesn't matter whether she's under his spell still yet or not. But the fact that she's standing up for him and taking his side, and that we're supposed to be lenient on him, is she's a flying monkey. That's what they do. They defend the narcissist. Okay. Same thing with his mother. His mother calls up and gives her testimony, claiming that, he was a good boy, and he was raised like in church and all that stuff, right? Laying it on thick. And then later on, I found out through the grapevine that his mother never really spent any time with him when he was a kid. He was actually raised by his grandmother, and she beat him up with a extension cord. So you got that little victimhood going on there for him, right? And So his mother calls in, and she's talking about what a good boy he is, and she didn't know nothing in terms of, and she says, I don't believe that he raped anybody. Right? So, well, I mean, and you kind of have to say, well, she's his mother, right? I mean, but still, she's still a flying monkey. Okay, whatever her motivations are. But the truth was, she herself was a drug addict. Okay, that's why she wasn't present enough to raise him, because she herself was a drug addict. So they have their own reasons for being loyal to the narcissist. Maybe she felt like, I wasn't there for him when I was growing up, so I'm going to stand by him now. Now that I'm all sober and everything, I'm going to stand by my son now. Right? Maybe that was the reason. But she's claiming ignorance. Now she's claiming that she doesn't know. And then what happens is the lawyer is putting it to her and he's saying, so you saw these signs, you saw that sign, you saw this sign, but you didn't make anything of it. No, I didn't make anything of it. Okay, willful ignorance and cognitive dissonance, all of that working. Okay, so that's another flying monkey. And then he's trying to make an appeal to the jury, right? So he holds up these. He says, "I want to give this evidence here," and it's a pack of photographs of him and his kids, and he has a picture of his new girlfriend, and I'm thinking, excuse me, how the hell do you get a girlfriend in jail, buddy? The guy has been in jail for the past 5 years. And the mother of his ex there, the mother of his children, who's now giving testimony for him, right? She's moved on, but somehow he's able to get another woman. Okay, the guy never worked a day in his life. He can get women to pay for his way. That's a narcissist, okay? Hello, he gets himself a little sugar mama, and the thing is, now he's in jail, right? He still can get himself some ass. How? I don't know. These people are capable of getting, seducing women. This guy, it was a guy. Women can do this too, and they get what they want, because of the flying monkeys, because of the cognitive dissonance, because nobody's willing to challenge this. And if you do, they silence you and they put you down, In this case, however, I don't think he could have done that because he's going up against the state. In real life, in my life anyways, when you deal with flying monkeys, the big difference here between how you might see the flying monkeys in your life versus this particular situation, because it was in a court system, is a what's the word? Kind of sanitized, I guess you could say. Sanitized in meaning that it's very compartmentalized, in that you have these people as witnesses or character witnesses for this guy, and in reality, it's not that neat in how we as individuals, if we're being attacked with the smear campaign or something else, to where it's convenient like that, But it really comes down, but it doesn't mean that he's not a narcissist. He definitely was a narcissist. So when it comes to flying monkeys, they do the bidding of the narcissist, and at some point, often, not necessarily all the time, but often, they will turn on the narcissist will turn on the flying monkeys, and the friendship will be over. It depends on how stubborn and how much cognitive dissonance is in the mind of the flying monkeys. Okay, the longer they delude themselves, the longer the relationship will go on, because they're working against themselves, basically. The narcissist doesn't care, because the narcissist doesn't really have any friends. He doesn't have any relationships that are real. It's all about who he can use and how he can get what he wants. And the flying monkeys just get on the bandwagon for it. There's another story. I will save it for another time, because I'm going to revisit the topic of flying monkeys when we talk about the smear campaign. So anyways, if you have a story, feel free to share it below if you wish. And subscribe. And I hope to see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.